I'm Jacob Chandler, and I'm a Boy Scout. Today is September the 19th, 2015, and I will be interviewing Mr. George Clancy. He is a veteran of the Vietnam War. This interview is part of my Eagle Scout Service Project. The LaSalle Veterans Exhibit and interviews are part of my Eagle Scout Service Project. The LaSalle Cultural Center of Jena, Louisiana will display my LaSalle Veterans Exhibit. Our mission is to preserve our LaSalle Parish heritage. Veterans of LaSalle Parish often have experiences from their time of service that go untold. Today, as I said, I'm interviewing Mr. George Clancy. What war or era did you serve in?
The Vietnam War I served from 1966 to 1969.
Yes, sir. What branch of service were you in?
United States Army.
What was your rank?
Sergeant.
Yes, sir. Would you point to the areas on this map where you served during the Vietnam War?
Okay. I was right there. It was Saigon. I was 35 miles north, a little place called LaSalle. That's where the 1st Division headquarters was. That's where I served.
Yes, sir. I also see you have some other maps here, or some close-up maps.
Right.
Yeah, this one up top.
Say that's where we was. And that's LaSalle and different places, Saigon, Fulo, and all that. Right down here is the Iron Triangle, which was where the 1st Division that I was in mostly had operations.
Yes, sir. Well.
And that's the big red one. That's what I was in. If you're going to be one, you got to be a big red one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they told us.
Yes, sir. Well, how old were you when you entered into military training?
I was 24 years old. I was drafted. And
yes, sir.
I got drafted on June 6, 1966. We went to Shreveport. 26 of us left LaSalle Parish on a bus and went to Shreveport. Left there and went to Fort Polk. And I stayed down there 8 weeks. And then I was stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma with 105 Artillery. But when I got up there, they decided they needed a supply clerk. So they jerked me out of training and I stayed there 8 weeks. But then I got orders to go to Vietnam in the 105 Housers. And I went on over there, and then when I got there, the captain needed a Jeep driver, and they got me to drive the Jeep for about 4 months, and then I got to take over the supply. But that's my career over there.
Yes, sir. Why did you pick the Army branch to serve in?
I didn't pick it, sir. They picked me. I was drafted.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's the reason why I was in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, what areas were you trained at in the United States for service?
Well, it's just Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
And well, when I was up there, I went to LPC school. That's Leadership Course, where they teach you that. But other than that, we went to Vietnam. They were shipping us over there so fast, it was pathetic.
Yes, sir.
Well, when I was over there, the total people in Vietnam was 550,000 soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it maxed out.
Yes, sir. Wow. So your training, I know you said it was kind of short. What all did your training include?
Oh, training was just most of my training was just on a 105 howitzers and how to set it up, set the deflection and all this, and how to shoot it, and how we had an FO. We'd always have an FO out there who would give us the coordinates, and then you'd put the figures and stuff in and shoot it and everything. But one thing they had up there was a beehive shell.
Yes, sir.
And it was like 1,000,000 little darts in this shell. And one day we was on an operation and then way up north in the Iron Triangle, and we were securing the airport in air base and had a little runway. One night we got overrun. That's the only thing that kept them from getting us. We put 105s down like a shotgun, shot them, drove the Viet Cong back, and that's what saved us.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of people didn't know about the beehive shot.
Yes, sir. Well, I know you already mentioned some of it, but what all positions did you serve in while you was over there?
Well, I was just started off as Jeep driver, and then I was supply sergeant, and then after I stayed in the field 6 months, and my main duty was I was the captain's Jeep driver. We call him the old man, but not to his face. But I was his Jeep driver, and I was responsible for everything he did. We'd get hit at night. I'd have to put a radio on my back and follow him around and all this, and whatever he didn't want to do, I had to do for him. And I stayed out there 6 months, and then he knew that I had been trained as a supply clerk, so when a supply sergeant left, he promoted me to sergeant and sent me back to base camp. Then I was what they call an NCOIC, non-commissioned officer in charge. I took care of any wants he wanted when he was in the field. And then I went to battalion and took care of 3 batteries and stayed over there 27 months, and then I left. Had all I wanted. I'm not trying to be ugly or nothing, but I thought I'd done my duty.
Yes, sir. Well, what all gear and equipment did you have that was issued to you?
Oh, to me, when I was Jeep driver, I had a M16, a 45, grenade launcher. All this was in the Jeep.
Yes, sir.
In case we were going down in a convoy, get hit, we had everything. And once or twice I fired the 105, but I didn't like it too much, so I stayed with the captain. But
Yes, sir.
that's all I did. We did have to qualify on the M60 machine gun.
Yes, sir.
But in 45, we had to do that about every 3 months, qualify. But that's about it.
Yes, sir. Well, you brought some medals and stuff.
Right,
like that.
right.
Yes, sir. Can you describe some of them?
Right, that's the Bronze Star. I got that. I'll tell you how I got that. We was going out on a convoy in operation, and they had a FO, forward observer, go out the day before, and they went out there and burned the field where we were going on. And the next day, we were going to set up there because the grass was gone and everything. But that night, Charlie went in there and put mines on, just buried mines all in the field. So we got, it's about 25 miles from Lockheed. We got out there and we started pulling in there. And the mine started going off, blowing the wheels off of the deuce and a halves and everything else. And after we got settled and everything, well, I had 1 deuce and a half blow off and hit my back of my Jeep. It missed me about that far. But after we got settled up and everything, First Sergeant and I, we had to get the vehicles out. So he had a mine sweeper. And he get in it, and I got in a deuce and a half, and I backed every truck out of that mine. That's how I earned that.
Yes, sir.
The Bronze Star. I was real proud of it. And this is a defense medal we got, and this is a Vietnamese medal we got, and I really don't recall which one that is, but that's the one I'm very proud of.
Yes, sir. Well, can you describe a typical day in service?
Which, basic or Vietnam?
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you one about basic. We was in basic one morning. They got us out to go take shots. This is going to be a little funny, but we'll put it in. So we all got in formation, and we didn't know it, but the medics had put about 4 medics in our formation. We marched over to where they're going to get shots, and we got over there, and they looked around. They said, you going to give shots. We thought there was people in our outfit was going to give us shots. Anyway, but after it was over, we thought it was very funny. But a normal day in Vietnam is you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. The thing Charlie would hit you would be between 4 and daylight every day. And so First Sergeant, he'd get us up, everybody up about 4 o'clock in the morning, just to be ready. And then after daylight got there and nothing happened, you'd go ahead about your regular duties, and everything. But mostly I was in the field. When I was in the field, my job mostly was I took care of the mail, everything for what the captain didn't want to do, and just anything wanted to go on. But normal day, I'd help with give them supplies when they cleaned their 105, stuff like this, and whatever he wanted to do. Usually he had a lot of paperwork he wanted, and I took care of that too. And it wasn't too bad.
Yes, sir.
Until we'd have to go on a turkey shoot, and that's when we'd have 2 Chinooks come in. They'd pick 2 howitzers up, and we'd go off in the jungle somewhere, and they'd set us down, and we'd shoot like 300 or 400 rounds just as fast as we could.
Yes, sir.
To soften up where the infantry was going in. Then they'd pick us up and come back out. There was different stuff like that, but it wasn't too bad.
Yes, sir. Well, What did soldiers usually do while they were off duty?
Well, I never did serve in the United States, but while they was off in Vietnam in base camp, they would have a little village they'd go to there. They'd go into. I never did go down there. You know, they'd have some Vietnamese down there. They'd cook chicken and French fries, stuff like that, and these guys would go down and eat that. I wouldn't go. Only time I had to go down there, they'd make sergeants go down there to walk around to make sure these GIs wouldn't get in no trouble. So that's the only time I'd go down there. But I wasn't too fond of eating all that stuff Vietnamese fixed. But normally you didn't have a day off in Vietnam. It was every day you worked. And on Sunday, if you wanted to go to Chaplain, you could go. But you didn't have a day. You worked 7 days a week. You had your routine 7 days a week. And so that's the only time you'd get off was if you could take an R&R, rest and relaxation. You could go, out of country or go. They had a place down on the coast that you could go. I never did go there, but I went to Tokyo one time and come back. And but Vietnam wasn't really like the service in the United States. You was on duty all the time.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw a few photos in there of Tokyo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Now that was that. You remember I was telling you about that captain that?
Yes, sir.
That was his automobile.
Yes, sir.
That's what he also did. He would take our laundry to Bingkat. That was 5 miles from LaSalle. He had a bunch of Vietnamese people that would wash our clothes for us. He'd load that up and take it off down there. And this was his barber shop.
Yes, sir.
And that's where he cut our hair and everything. He'd shave me. I didn't want to shave that morning. I'd go in and let him shave me. Man, I wouldn't know more if I knew what was going on, but that was it. That's me right there, standing out in front of my supply room there.
Yes, sir.
And that's out in the field. And then that's the mess hall tent. Let's get everything in it.
Yes, sir.
That's the 105.
Howitzer.
Yeah. And that's where we got in when the rockets and stuff come in. You could get in there fast. It didn't take no time. But and see how we had Quonset huts.
Yes, sir.
That was the old metal ones around there. That was my supply room in there. And half of it was my supply room, and half of it was the XO officer's office in front of us. But you can see them trees.
Yes, sir.
That's the
rubber trees.
That's the rubber trees.
I'll hold it here for it.
And
give you a shot of that.
I think at one time I sent some rubber home.
Yes, sir.
It comes, like these maple trees up in the north that comes out.
Yes, sir.
Rubber comes out of those trees. I mean, it's rubber. You can pull it and everything. And I sent some home.
Wow, that's something. Well, see here, I might look through a couple of these photos. Second, is this you?
Let's see. That's me.
Yes, sir.
Good looking at it. Hey, and guess what? We had TV over there.
Yes, sir. What?
It was called Armed Forces Network, and you watch what they wanted you to watch. That's my desk, and that's where I am. I should have. That's me working at my desk.
Yes, sir.
And everything. We even had little refrigerators over there. Run them off of generators. That's my supply clerk right there.
Yes, sir. Well, let me set this back over here. Well, can you share any missions that stand out to you in particular?
Yeah, the one that we went up to do about then, that was where the mountain was, and we went up there. It was a big operation. We went up there and stayed about a month, and then what it was, we went up there and engineers come up there and built an airstrip, and we were having security for them. And we got hit bad one night up there, real bad one night. It was an all-night battle, but lucky nobody in my outfit got hurt, which I'm proud of. And then after we secured it and they got it all fixed, that's the night we was coming back. And they said, we're going back to our base camp and we're going straight through at night. We're going to show Charlie who's the boss. So we did that. And we come around. We're coming back. I was driving the old van, the Jeep, and the clutch went out on my Jeep.
Yes, sir.
It had a rod. It's none of this hydraulics. So it had a rod from the clutch to the pedal, and it broke. I drove that Jeep about 150 miles with no clutch. I just shifted, and then we stopped. I'd cut it on. Come on. He really appreciated it.
Yes, sir. Well, do you recall any particularly humorous or unusual event?
Nah, not really. Only nothing really was too humorous over there.
Yes,
Only thing I thought was funny was that deal we was getting shots. You know, when they pulled the people out on us, but wasn't nothing too humorous over there.
Well, yes, sir.
I mean, I wished I could tell you something, but it wasn't.
Well, we've already gone through some of the photos here. I know you got a large photo album here. What are some of these items that you have printed out for us?
Oh, okay. This is LaSalle. That's where I was. It's an aerial view of. This was taken in I think it was on Google here about 2011, but that's where we were there. And this is where the battalion had Thanksgiving dinner, and they set it up real pretty and everything. And
Yes, sir.
this was battalion headquarters, and this was a little monkey that got hurt, and the battalion guy brought it in and see where he's sleeping on his bunk. And that was their pet over there. And this is what the Viet Cong looked like. See how they would dress, black pajamas and nothing, little sandals and all. That was the Viet Cong.
Yes, sir.
They were the ones that was the sympathizers in South Vietnam. And that's what our little barber he did at night. This is the regular North Vietnamese Army. That's the one Ho Chi Minh had up there. And let's see what this is. This is a typical rice field that dried up. And this here is a little old place there in the village.
Yes, sir.
And this here is where they had a fence where nobody could get in. And this is Vietnamese kids. And it's a little old buggy back here. And I believe, oh, let's see. That's where B-52 dropped a bomb. See that
Yes,
big
sir.
hole there?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this is real dark, but this is where napalm was put in. And this is an ant hill. See it down there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see over here. This is one of them French mansions
Oh,
right
yes, sir.
there. And this is where we're in the little village. And this was the general's place to
Yes,
stay.
sir.
Yeah. And this was MPCs. That's what we call military script. They give us over there. They didn't give us American money. You couldn't have it over there. And they give us this. And about every 6 months, they would call you up and say, come to battalion. We're going to change it out. And you know the reason they was doing that, because the Vietnamese would have as much money. Somehow they was getting it from us. And then when they changed it out, their money wasn't any good.
Yes,
They
sir.
would come to us with baskets, hundreds of dollars, wanting us to change it for them, and we wouldn't do it. That's the reason they did that. And this is the different bunkers. That was a Viet Cong bunker. That's a regular bunker in the field, and that's in the battalion.
Yes, sir.
But, there's something over there.
Yes, sir. Well, what were some of the people that you served with? How were they like?
Oh, they were fine. In fact, I got a guy now that's a supply. I mean, he was the company clerk. His name was Thomas Chin. He lives in Las Vegas. About 3 years ago, we got together. And he phones me every other day now and emails me. And we're trying to find different people that we serve with. And he was company clerk. And I told him, I said, Chin, I said, you made a big mistake. He said, what's that? I said, why didn't you keep a morning report? That's a morning report and everybody's names on it and everything. I said, man, we could have contacted everybody. He said, well, I didn't think of that. I said, I didn't either. But I got a hold of my motor pool sergeant. He's in Georgia. And I got a hold of our XO, a lieutenant. He was in Georgia. And I've talked to them. But I've got a captain, my 2 captains I serve with. I'm trying to get a hold of them, and it's just hard. I had both of them are colonels now, retired, and you just can't hardly get a hold of them.
Well,
But I'd like to get a hold of them and see what, we had a good company over there. I was 24 years old. I was the second oldest person in our company.
Wow.
First sergeant was 41. I was 24. The captain was 23.
Yes, sir.
Can you believe that? I can't.
Young.
Yeah, I guess the majority of the fellas over there are pretty young.
Yeah. Oh, most of them our outfit were 18, 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bunch of kids, but we had some good ones.
Yes, sir.
Most everybody in our outfit was draftees, so
Mm.
they won't serve their 12 months and get out of there and go home.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a little older. I went on back.
Yes, sir. Well, after your service ended, did you go into work? Or?
Oh yeah. When I come home, well, I had an opportunity to re-enlist, but General called me up and wanted me to. He's looking at my records and everything. He told me he would promote me to a W01 if I'd re-enlist for 6 years, and I said, no sir, I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Which now I might have made a mistake. But over there, rank was easy to get. If you applied, did your job and everything, it was easy to get. I mean, because people was leaving and everything else, they had to fill these positions. If you did your job, you could go on. I was like, I was an E2 when I got to Vietnam. In 3 months, I was sergeant.
Yes, sir.
But they wanted people that did their job and everything. But I could have made a career out of it, but I didn't want to. In fact, I'd married, and I know Verna didn't want to do it, so I didn't. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I'd have had to drug my kids all over the country and everything, and that's not a good life. But
Well, yes, sir.
I served and I did my duty,
How did your service affect your occupations and such afterwards?
Well, when I got out, no, I just, man, I've done everything when I got it. Let me tell you what, the service helped me teach me how to work. And if you want to work, you can get a job. And I've done everything. I've been assistant manager at a credit company. I've been manager of this, and I've done everything. And I'm still working. I'm kind of semi-retired, but I work for Talton Communications, which I was in commo in Vietnam. That means communications.
Yes, sir.
We laid these little phone lines down and all that. But I take care of all the prison phones, and Gina and Alexander, and we're fixing to open one up in Pine Prairie. So my Army background helped me in what I'm doing now. Any occupation I did, my Army helped me.
Yes, sir.
It teaches you how to work, teaches you to grow up and make decisions and be a man. But I joke a lot and cut up, but my doctor says that's good for you.
Yes, sir. Well, I remember you saying that you've continued some of your relationships with your people that you serve with over there.
But
And
one
you're still
boy.
trying to contact some of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I get on the internet and I get almost there, and you run out. You know how it is. You get on there, and my captain, first captain, he was a retired colonel, and I found him. I was on the internet the other night, and I was looking at something on the 1st Division. And in 2011, he was at some deal the 1st Division had, and I've got it where I think I'm going to write who this reporter that wrote this article, see if I can get contact with him, but I hadn't got around to it. But I'd like to see some of them guys.
Yes, sir.
The guy that I was first captain I had, Captain Baum, he was a West Point graduate.
Yes, sir.
And after he left, he went to Miami University and was head of ROTC there. So, and then he retired as a colonel. Now, you asked me if there was anything humorous over there. I thought of something. Can I tell you?
Sure. Yes, sir.
I was a supply sergeant. We had this lieutenant, this major. No, it was a lieutenant colonel. He was an XO in a battalion. And boy, he would come around, and he was strictly West Point, and he'd come in there and want to know this, want to know that, and everything. And I was telling my first sergeant about it, and he said, "Hey, boy," he said, "let me tell you how to get rid of him." I said, "No, not tell me." He says, "You go in there and you read an AR, that's Army regulations." He says, "You find something that he don't know nothing about, and you memorize it." He said, "Next time he comes around," he says, "ask him about it." He said, "You won't see him no more." So I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah." So about a week later, he come around, he come in, I said, Major Gillaracus, I said, what about this AR-31 something, you know? And he said, what about it? I said, well, I was thinking, can you explain it to me? He said, well, I'm in a hurry now, but I'll be back later. He can come back in. I hadn't seen him yet. So First Sergeant knew more about it than I did.
Yes, sir. Well, are you involved in any veterans organizations?
No, I should be, but I'm not. I should be.
Oh, yes.
But I'm not. I'm still working. I ain't got time.
Well, are there any other particularly memorable or impactful events that you'd be willing to share?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna tell you, when I went over there, I was not saved.
Yes, sir.
I was lost as a goose. And when I got married, I'll give it all my credit to Verna. I married a girl that was religious, saved, and she didn't tell me I had to go to church and all that. But when I come back from Vietnam, I started going to church and was baptized in 1970. And I'll give her all the credit for that.
Yes, sir.
And if it hadn't been for her, I might be a still lost guy. But and the reason I believe to this day that I wasn't killed over there because she and other people were praying for me to come back and accept the Lord as my Savior.
Yes,
so I'm proud of that.
Yes, sir. Well, that's good. Well, thank you, sir, for your service today.
I appreciate it, and I just want to tell you how much I'm proud of you, the way you're working to get your Eagle thing,
yes, sir.
medal, and I'm real proud of you. You just keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. Well,
and I'm glad to be here, and anytime you need me, let me know. Okay, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Glad to be with you.
Yes, sir.